Was it just a case of poor location? Was there rust? I mean, how do you explain what was happening out there?
Yeah, I mean, not many times have I done that in the first inning. I've had a couple instances where teams jump you like that. I think 4 homers on 4 different pitches and then a homer on a different pitch the next inning. So just a weird instance where some of them were bad location, a couple of them weren't. Go back and look at it and try maybe see if I was, doing something or getting in a pattern. But yeah, I mean, physically felt good. So that's, kind of the frustrating thing when you feel good physically and the results don't show that. And, can't even find a way to get into the 5th, right? I thought I kind of had found a little bit of a rhythm there in the 2nd and 3rd other than the one swing, and, the walks kind of led to a longer inning. But, yeah, obviously not how I wanted the first one to go. Great night, lots of fans out there watching us try to win a series, but we got a chance to win a series tomorrow.
Did you know in the bullpen that you didn't have your best stuff?
No, I mean, not to make light of it, but I stopped worrying about how I felt in the bullpen a long time ago. Sometimes you don't feel good and then you walk in and, you figure out a good plan and you lock it in when you get to the mound. And I've had days like today where I feel really good in the bullpen and stuff's locating and just like it has the last 3 weeks and just doesn't go your way. So, the bullpen is more of just a warm-up, not really an indication of where you're at physically and where you're at mentally in execution.
How did your ramp-up process kind of compare to a normal spring training, and how maybe you come into a season a little bit differently than normal?
I threw way more bullpens in February and March than I, would have. I mean, I probably threw 4 bullpens of 50 pitches, before I even signed. Threw an extra live BP than I would have in a normal spring training, but 1 less outing probably. I think it probably evened out to get to me to where the pitch kind of needed to be. And where my stuff needed to be. So I'd say a little abnormal, but not too crazy to think that, today wouldn't have been realistic.
When that first inning is going, and, second pitch, third pitch, and you kind of unravels a little bit there for you. I mean, how do you get back on track? I mean, how do you attempt mentally to get back on track when you see, 4 home runs leave off bad stuff?
Kind of just what I tried to do there in that next inning. You got to kind of process it, figure out if they were all just bad execution or the wrong pitch and try to go get outs next inning. You can't change what's happened. You can't, and definitely if you sit there and worry about what's happening, then, more bad things are going to, go wrong. So, sure, it's obviously way less than ideal, but you got to go out there and get the next inning and see how far into the game you can get and, try to put up some zeros. And, I thought I had a little bit of something going there, and then, that 2-out walk to Judge kind of, started something. But, yeah, I mean, that's really all you can do. You just got to keep throwing and use something else to be your form of confidence. I'm prepared. Look at your preparation, look at your notes, and go back out there and try again.
The team's tough start, but how confident that this can be a good team, that this team can get things going and have a good season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of confidence, first off. This is a team that has so many good players, so many just good pitching. It's a good team. And I know, obviously, maybe we haven't played our best baseball, but good teams have bad months all the time. And the hard part to do now is to not sit here and think that you got to get it all back in 10 games and by May 15th try to be 5 games over 500. That's a tough mental battle to fight. I think the best thing you can do is look at tomorrow and see if you can finish the calendar by winning a series and win the next series in May. Because you just can't do it 10 games at a time. You got to do it 1 at a time and 2 or 3 at a time and start knocking off some series. And before you know it, at the end of May, you can be 4 or 5 games over 500 and you're feeling really good. So just like good teams can have bad months, they can have really good ones too. And you look back and you look at the growth you can have in the month of March or in the month of April, and maybe look back in September and realize that maybe this is what helped you kind of fight through some of the dog days.